Welcome back to the channel. It's always a pleasure to have you here, and today's message is especially for those of you who've been called too stubborn, too intense, too obsessive. If you've ever been told to just let it go, but something inside you kept saying not yet, then today's video is going to resonate deeply with you. We are going to talk about obsession, not the toxic kind that blinds you, but the sacred kind that guides you. Not the virgin that destroys you, but the virgin that defines you. In a world that glorifies balance, moderation, and going with the flow, we rarely talk about the value of sustained focus, of holding on when it would be easier to let go. True maturity isn't about giving up your edge. It's about refining it, and sometimes that edge is your obsession, the unshakable belief that something matters deeply, even when the world doesn't understand it. Let's start with this truth: most breakthroughs are the result of what others once mocked as obsession. Think about it. Every great artist, innovator, athlete, or thinker at some point was considered too much, too intense, too focused, too different. But they weren't wrong. They were early. They were committed. They were willing to look like a fool today in order to build something timeless tomorrow. That's obsession. Not reckless fixation, but a long devotion. A private fire that you carry when no one else believes. A vision you return to, not because it's easy, but because it's yours. Let's look at some real stories. There was a designer named Lynn who worked corporate days and personal projects at night. She believed in a certain kind of aesthetic that no brand would fund: minimal, poetic, emotionally intelligent design. Her supervisor once told her, "The market doesn't care about your obsessions." Her proposal was shredded in front of a team. She went home in silence, bathed in self-doubt. But she didn't quit. She read more, refined more, and eventually launched a small brand on the side. At first, nothing happened. But 3 years later, her irrelevant design style was suddenly trending. Her work didn't change. The world caught up. That's what obsession does. It prepares you for a future no one else sees. True maturity is when you no longer need external validation to keep going. You don't need applause. You don't even need understanding. What you have is enough clarity, commitment, and time. Most people abandon their dreams, not because they failed, but because they started listening to the wrong voices. You're wasting your time. No one cares. This isn't realistic. But obsession, the mature kind, doesn't argue with critics. It just keeps building. Let's break this down further. Obsession, at its best, is devotion to a calling. It's the ability to show up every day for something no one is paying you for yet. It's rewriting that book again. It's launching the 10th version of a failed product again. It's waking up early, staying late, doing the thing everyone else has given up on. Why? Because your soul won't let you quit. There's a line from a novel that says, "Obsession is a tattoo on the soul. That's how it feels. You didn't choose it. It chose you. And it won't go away." And now, let's talk about the fear people have of obsession. They fear being too different, too intense, too outside the norm. They confuse obsession with rigidity. But mature obsession isn't rigid, it's resilient. It bends without breaking, it adapts, it evolves, but it never vanishes. It's not about proving anything. It's about living in alignment with something bigger than comfort. The world tells you to let go, to move on, to be more flexible. But here's the truth: sometimes the breakthrough is one chapter, one sketch, one pitch away. And most people quit just before that chapter. That's not maturity. That's fear, dressed up as logic. So how do you know if your obsession is mature, or if it's just denial? Here's a simple test. Does it make you grow? Does it force you to become someone stronger, wiser, more grounded? If yes, it's not delusion. It's direction. But if it keeps you stuck, isolated, bitter. That's not obsession. That's ego. Mature obsession demands evolution. You become better not just at the craft but at patience, humility, discipline. You develop grit, not just ambition. And over time, the world begins to notice. Slowly, silently, then suddenly. Let's talk about process. Obsession means you're willing to be invisible. For a long time. You write and no one reads. You create and no one buys. You train and no one watches. But one day they do. And by then, you've built something real. Not because you wanted to be seen, but because you couldn't stop until it was finished. This is the story of every artist, every pioneer, every change maker. They weren't lucky. They were relentless. They didn't follow the trends. They created new ones. But now, let's flip the script. What happens when you suppress your obsession? You try to live a normal life. You take the stable job. You stop sketching. You delete the manuscript. You tell yourself, maybe that was just a phase. But deep down, something aches. You feel like a shadow. You smile at parties, but your mind is elsewhere. You achieve what others admire, but feel hollow inside. Because the truth is, you traded your fire for fitting in. And fitting in is never worth the price of your purpose. So here's what I'm telling you to do. Don't kill your obsession. Feed it. But feed it wisely. Let it mature. Let it teach you patience. Let it turn your fire into focus. Let it sculpt your time, your choices, your values. You don't need to announce it. Just work. Just refine. Just build. And one day, what once looked like stubbornness will look like vision. What once seemed like foolishness will be genius. And you'll stand there, not surprised but ready. Because you never left the path. You just kept walking while others turned back. Thank you for watching this video. If you've been quietly holding on to something, an idea, a dream, a fire, let us know in the comments. This is your space, you're not alone. And if this message gave you even one breath of clarity, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone else who's quietly carrying their vision. Until next time, remember, the world may not understand your obsession. But you weren't born to be understood. You were born to create something worth understanding.